The ones that control your world are evil, demonic entities. Did you know that? If you didn't, now you know. So, the last video I made, I was talking about the world that we're living in and it being hell, right? We're living in hell. Whether you knew it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. Doesn't matter whether you're religious or not. It doesn't really matter. We're in hell, a hellish world, equivalent to hell, however you want to look at it, right? You decide how you want to view that, but that's what it is. All right. Now, how did it get that way and why is it that way? Well, it wasn't always hell. There were points in this world where it was very harmonic and peaceful and heavenly, right? But there were entities that you're looking at right now on the screen called reptilians, Dracos, whatever. I don't really care what you call them, as long as you know what I'm talking about. That decided that they wanted this world to be theirs, and whenever they conquer a world or they take over a world, they make it as hellish as they possibly can. The reason why they do that is because they enjoy torturing whatever civilization or entities that live on that planet. Because the more they torture those entities, the more energy or negative energy that they call loosh that these entities will give off. And then they eat that energy. But not only do they eat energy, they eat physical beings as well. So it is what it is. And if you're like, oh, that's crazy, I can't fathom that. Well, first of all, humans eat animals. So to them, we are like animals. That's the way they view us. We're like cattle to them. And the only thing they see us good for is to eat, to torture, to enslave, and have us do whatever they want us to do for them. That's how they view humans. And that's just the way it is. And that's just a simple reality. Now, people may say, well, why don't I see these entities, or why aren't they around? Yada, yada, yada. Why can't I, why haven't I seen one or whatever? Well, it's very simple. The reason why you don't see them, and you probably never will unless they decide to show themselves to you, is because they operate in secret, in the dark, because that's how they do things. That's just the way they work. Why do they do that? Because from behind the scenes, they can do more than if they were in the open. So in other words, if they came out in the open and they showed themselves, humans would be more rebellious and not willing to go along with what they're doing. So imagine if this creature showed itself to you and was like, hey, I want you to do this, that, and the other. You need to work for me. You need to kill your fellow man. You need to do this, that, and the other. Whatever these entities are doing to the world, if they came out in the open and just told you directly to do it, would you do it? No. But because they're controlling politicians, they're controlling the people in power, or even psychically and mentally influencing other humans, right, to do random evil things like, I don't know, school shootings and stuff like that, then they can get away with more, right? And as long as they're making you think that your fellow man is the enemy, and that's who's doing this to you, they get away with it. They don't care about you seeing them. What they care about is you creating that negative energy out of fear or hatred or pain or whatever you feel that is negative. And then they feed off of it. And the negative energy you create that they eat is called loosh. That's all they care about. They don't care whether you see them or not. They don't care about none of that. And like I said, if they wanted you to see them, they would show themselves to you. And if they're showing themselves to you, that most like it pretty much means you're dead. You're not going to survive that if they're showing you themselves. But long story short, as long as they operate in secret and behind the scenes, as I stated earlier, they can get away with a lot more than if they were in the open. So that's why they hide, and that's why they stay in secret. They have cloaking technology. They can camouflage themselves. They can hide themselves. They can be right in front of you. You'll never see them. They can trick your mind so that you won't see what's there. It's not hard for entities that are more evolved than humans to trick the human mind. Human minds are very limited in what we can see and do. But anyways, long story short, they have created this hellish world the way they want it to be. And people might say, well, we're not entirely in hell. There's not fire and brimstone everywhere, yada, 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 right? Like, if you want to be very literal and to the point of what hell is, yeah, okay, sure. We're not exactly all burning up and tortured that way, but there are other ways to torture. And who's to say that we're not headed that way? The way I see it is the world is slowly but surely heading towards that reality where everything will be on fire and brimstone and will be being tortured in the open by these entities if we don't stop what's happening. The only way to get rid of these creatures and get them out of our world, basically, is to be positive. And first you have to realize, right? You have to see the enemy. You have to know the enemy's there. Then you have to see how the enemy works and operates and what makes it function. And then you have to shut it down. And you have to cut it off. You have to cut off its supply. You have to cut off its ability to feed and propagate itself or make itself stronger, right? And the way you do that is, like I just told you, they feed off of negativity. So you have to be positive. You have to change your mindset. You have to live a good life. You have to be good to your fellow man. Stuff like that. That's how you get rid of these entities. And again, I'm not going to say I'm some kind of angel or that I do everything right, because I don't. If anything, I've been contributing my fair share of negative energy to this world. And that's something that I obviously need to work on, right? It's like practice what you preach kind of thing. So yeah, I have to do my part as well. But as a collective, everyone has to do their part if you want this world to change and you want to get rid of these evil entities. And every religion and every culture has some form of demonic creatures that they believe exist, right? And usually they're not in the open, right? So it's the same thing with these creatures. They're of the same kind. So if you believe in demons, or if you've heard of these evil entities that you believe exist, and they're not in the open, what makes you think these guys are going to be? It's the same concept, right? They're the same thing. It's just different cultures and different religions call them different names. Doesn't mean they're talking about something different. So as long as you know that they're the same thing, it's just like God, right? There's different definitions for God. There's creation, creator, the divine, omnipotent one, what, blah, blah, blah. There's a million different ways you can call God, right? But you all know you're talking about God, right? And that's what it is. It's the same thing with these demons. You can call them jinn, you can call them whatever you want to call them. Onis, demons, whatever. Each culture, each language has a different name for them, but that's what they are. But anyways, I've said enough about this. I'm just making you guys aware that the reason why we're living in this hellish world is because these entities are controlling it and making it that way. They want humans to suffer so that they can feed off of them, and they want to control the human population. That's why everybody has to work and everybody's a slave to money. You can't get away from it, no matter where you are. And if you're living in the jungle and you are away from this and you're not aware of this happening, what kind of life is that, right? I mean, who wants to live like that? Whatever. If that's natural to you and that's how you want to live, go ahead and do it. But I think the point of humanity and society is to advance and evolve, not to regress back to being cavemen, right? That's not what we're supposed to do. But anyways, I've said enough. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be on Twitch later on if you guys want to catch me over there. The link is in the description below, as well as all my other social media. So if you want to follow that or support the channel, check those links out. Appreciate you showing up. And I hope to get, I hope you guys show up in the next video. Take care, and I'll see you guys